Come on, join the celebration.
Don't be shy, dear. Let's dance.
The night everything
Hedgers,
broke apart
darlings,
began
you
like a
simply
dream
must
polished
understand the
too
importance of
perfectly to
tradition
be
in these
real.
matters. Yes, we appreciate
Crystal
these matters.
chandeliers scattered light across marble floors, music drifted like a soft promise through the air, and guests in elegant clothes smiled as if happiness were guaranteed simply by being present. From the outside, it looked like a celebration of love, family, and status. But beneath the silken smiles, a quiet cruelty waited, patient and sharp, ready to strike someone who never imagined her life could collapse so completely in a single evening. Before the story pulls you deeper, take a moment to pause. If you believe in kindness, second chances, and the idea that no one deserves humiliation in the name of pride or power, please like this video, share it with someone who needs hope, comment your thoughts, and subscribe to our channel, Kindness Speaks, where stories are not just told but felt. Her name was Era, and she had learned early in life how to make herself small. Not weak, not invisible, just quiet enough not to disturb the fragile egos around her. She married into a family that dazzled the world with wealth and influence, a family whose mansion was famous in glossy magazines and whispered about in elite circles. To outsiders, she was the lucky one, the girl who rose beyond her station. But luck, she would discover, often wears the mask of a trap. From the first day she entered her in-laws' home, the air felt heavy with judgment. Every step she took was measured, every gesture silently evaluated. Her background was respectable but modest, and though no one said it outright, the message was always there, lingering in looks and pauses. She did not belong. She was tolerated, not embraced. Still, she tried. She worked harder than anyone noticed, smiled through discomfort, and swallowed her pride whenever it threatened to surface. She believed love required endurance, that patience would eventually be rewarded. Her husband was distant in a way that hurt more than anger ever could. He stood beside her in public but never truly with her in private moments of decision. He avoided confrontation, especially when it involved his parents. Each time Era felt wounded by their coldness or subtle insults, she told herself it was temporary. She told herself things would change once they saw her loyalty, her grace, her willingness to sacrifice. The breaking point came on an evening meant to celebrate the family's legacy. The mansion was filled with guests who represented power, money, and social standing. Era wore a simple dress, elegant but restrained, chosen carefully so no one could accuse her of trying to outshine anyone. She stood quietly at the edge of the room, feeling like an accessory rather than a person, watching as laughter moved around her without ever stopping. Then it happened. A moment so sudden and cruel that time itself seemed to fracture. Accusations were hurled at her in front of everyone, vague but venomous, questioning her character, her worth, her place in the family. She barely understood what she was being blamed for. Before she could process the shock, hands seized the fabric of her dress. Not in rage, but in cold, deliberate punishment. It was not about anger. It was about power. The room fell silent as shame was forced upon her like a weapon. Guests froze, some horrified, others uncomfortable but unwilling to intervene. Cameras and phones hovered, capturing a moment that would scar her memory forever. Era stood there trembling, her arms instinctively crossing over herself, her dignity torn away as thoroughly as the fabric she wore. No one stopped it. Not her husband. Not the people who claimed to value honor and tradition. She was ordered out, discarded like something broken and embarrassing, pushed beyond the doors of a house she thought was her home. The night air felt brutal against her skin. The mansion doors closed behind her with a finality that echoed in her chest. In that moment, humiliation turned into something deeper and darker. It became clarity. Era did not cry immediately. Shock wrapped her emotions in numbness. She walked until her legs gave way, sitting on cold stone under the vast, indifferent sky. It was there, stripped not just of clothing but of illusion, that she realized she had been surviving on borrowed acceptance. And borrowed acceptance could always be revoked. With shaking hands, she made a call she had avoided making for years. A call rooted in pride and distance, in a desire to prove she could build her own life without leaning on her past. When the line connected, she could not speak at first. Silence carried everything words could not. Her father listened. A man whose name rarely appeared in gossip columns but whose influence shaped markets and futures. A man who had built an empire from nothing and taught his daughter that true wealth was dignity. He did not interrupt. He did not ask questions. He heard the truth in her breathing, in the way her voice broke when she finally managed to explain. What happened next did not unfold with loud threats or dramatic promises. It unfolded with precision. By morning, the world around the mansion began to shift. Legal teams moved quietly, contracts were reviewed, and ownership documents surfaced like ghosts from the past. The family that had paraded their wealth discovered that much of what they flaunted rested on foundations they did not fully control. Investments they depended on froze. Accounts stalled. Partnerships dissolved. The mansion, the symbol of their power, became the centerpiece of the revelation. It was not theirs. It had never truly been theirs. Layers of corporate ownership peeled back to reveal a truth hidden in plain sight. The property belonged to a holding company tied to Era's father, acquired years earlier as a strategic asset, not sentimentally, but wisely. When the truth came out, it spread fast. The same guests who had stood silently the night before now whispered in shock. The family's authority crumbled under the weight of their own arrogance. Invitations were withdrawn. Calls went unanswered. Doors that once opened eagerly now remained closed. Era returned to the mansion one last time, not in secrecy or shame, but in daylight. She did not come to gloat. She came to reclaim what had been stolen from her. Her presence alone was enough to unravel the illusion the family had clung to. Security no longer answered to them. Staff avoided their eyes. The power dynamic had reversed completely, not through cruelty, but through truth. She walked through halls where she had once felt small, now seeing them clearly for what they were. Beautiful walls could not hide ugly hearts. She did not raise her voice. She did not need to. The quiet certainty of her position spoke louder than any accusation. Her husband tried to explain, to justify his silence, his fear, his failure to protect her. But explanations felt hollow now. Love that demands humiliation is not love. Family that thrives on control is not family. Era understood this with a calm that surprised even herself. She left with nothing she had not earned and everything she deserved. Not jewelry. Not status. But self-respect. The aftermath rippled outward. The family faced consequences not only financial but social. Their cruelty had been witnessed, recorded, remembered. The world that once admired them now questioned them. Meanwhile, Era stepped into a new chapter, supported not by wealth alone, but by a restored sense of worth. She began working alongside her father, not as a sheltered daughter, but as a woman who had faced humiliation and survived. Her compassion deepened. Her strength sharpened. She invested in causes that protected the vulnerable, that gave voices to those silenced by power and tradition. Her story, once whispered in scandal, transformed into a symbol of resilience. And if this story has touched your heart, if it stirred something inside you about dignity, justice, and the quiet strength it takes to walk away from cruelty, please take a moment now to like this video, share it with others, and subscribe to Kindness Speaks. Your engagement helps these stories reach those who need them most. Before this video ends, we have one special request for you. Please write a comment below sharing what part of Era's journey moved you the most, or a message of support for anyone who may be going through something similar. Your words might be the kindness someone else needs today.